Guys, welcome to another episode of Into the West Comics.
Boom, boom, boom.
Please go ahead and do us a favor. Slap that like. Comment down below. Giggle uncontrollably.
It's a light slap.
It's a light slap.
It's not a huge
Make
slap.
sure you guys are subscribed. You don't want to miss anything because we have lots of content. Some stuff we probably don't want on YouTube, but you know.
Good thing we mute the show before we start.
Yeah, but that's life. I'm glad they muted about 40 seconds ago.
It'll be Into the West After Dark one time.
Ooh.
After dark. We'll
Yeah.
do a 1 a.m. show.
What's up, boys?
Guys, tonight, Sonny, tonight is a big night.
It is.
Okay, because we're all going to go get pizza after this.
Absolutely.
But later this evening, Wanda Vision is going to debut on the Plus.
2 episodes.
We're going to get 2 episodes. They extended it. What was it? From
7 to 9?
Yeah, to
Yeah.
9
Something like that,
episodes. So we're going to get 2 episodes tonight.
Yeah.
And then we'll get an episode every week, Friday at midnight. You know the deal, like the Mandalorian routine.
And I think that's the coolest thing because we've been able to do that with Boys. We've been able to do that with what's it, Mandalorian. We have, I think as soon as this is done, we'll be doing Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think every week we're supposed to be getting new episodes of something
I'm here for it.
for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Blues can take my money. That's for sure.
They continue to take my
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's being held over more than just the Mandalorian. You know what I mean? Now we actually are looking forward to more stuff. You know?
Yeah, it's nice to, it's not the Mandalorian Plus anymore. It's actually, they're starting to put out the shows they said they were going to put out 2
Right.
years ago.
I did watch the Mighty Ducks trilogy. One of the greatest trilogies of all time, by the way, and there's no arguing that. I did watch it.
He's
Yeah.
like, oh
I
no.
did.
All right, there's no arguing
Nope.
that.
And if you disagree with me, you're wrong.
Okay.
So then there's that.
That's settled then.
That settled that.
All right.
Come at me, bro.
All right.
Speaking of though,
I don't know.
I was like-
anymore.
I was like, you got to transition for that one, right?
I have so much energy for the show. I'm so excited to be here today. Truly.
We're sponsored by Truly Iced Tea. We've had the raspberry and kumquat and strawberry and not kumquat,
The
peach.
kumquat.
We're gonna have peach later.
Peach is good.
Pretty tasty. You had the lemon. You like the lemon.
Lemon's pretty decent.
That's what I'm sipping on. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Okay, so guys, we've been talking about this. Sorry, my hand. We've been talking about this. We wanted to get into this about tonight. We're gonna have 2 episodes of WandaVision. I want to have a couple thoughts. Thank you, Paul. I want to have a couple thoughts from you guys. What do you think we're gonna see, and where are we in the Wanda, Maximoff, and Vision storyline? Like, where is this taking place? What we're going to see over the next few weeks, Paul?
Oh, yeah. I'm sticking to my theory that I brought up a couple episodes ago. I think this is all taking place inside of Vision's, Wanda is making it take place inside of Vision's head right before Thanos rips it out of his head and kills him.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
Until proven otherwise, I'm sticking with that.
You know, when you see Vision's tie, I was looking at him. This could be just overlooking things on the internet, but so it has the box and it's 2 dots, and then it has the 2 dots on the outside of the box. I don't know. Let me wash my hands. It could be that symbolizing them trapped into something. You know what I mean? And that's the outside them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at the same different time. I don't know. I feel like this show's it's gonna give us a did you guys watch Legion?
No.
Like really, really out there kind of sci-fi vibes, and a lot of the reviews are saying, you know, this isn't the typical style Marvel.
That's good to hear, actually.
So
It's gonna have a theme. It's gonna have a different theme song. Every episode is gonna have a different intro.
composed by the person that was doing like Family Matters and all of the old OG shows, which is
Nice.
really cool.
Mm.
But
Friends.
Friends, of course.
Nice.
Seinfeld.
It's not going to be it's a Marvel show that is going to be for the new age watcher to be comfortable in watching. You know what I mean? It's not going to be like this action packed suit up scene and then, you know, the fight happens and then it's happily ever after. It's going to be something different, you know? So I'm excited for that as well.
I think this is all happening in Wanda's head.
Yeah.
I think she's going through a sort of PTSD, if you will, with losing Vision. Okay, so I thought about this the other day while totally being vulnerable and candid here while I was on the toilet reading. So
The best ideas happen there, man.
So Wanda loses her brother,
Mhm.
Okay.
and then she loses Vision. the two most important men in her life. And she didn't get to take out the guy that did those things to her or led to those things,
Right.
you know? And he goes, remember in Endgame, he's like, I don't even know who you are. And she goes, oh, you will.
Yeah,
and then he was like,
that.
he knew he was dying.
Oh yeah.
Thanos knew. He's like, oh, this girl's literally killing me.
Yeah, that's why he rains
And then
down everything.
Yeah, and then that happened. So I think she's upset that she didn't get to get the vengeance that she so deserves. So
sure.
instead, she's like, I'm going to create my own little universe in my own mind, and no one can bother me, which leads credence to us hearing James Park saying, Wanda, where are you? We're trying to find you. I think that the Avengers have lost her. She doesn't know where she is, but she's in her own mind, and she's going back off the things that I think all of us are familiar with growing up as children, and it's watching old sitcoms, the Nick at Night shows, the afternoon shows that we used to watch coming home from school, like Full House, Family Matters.
For sure.
So we're going to see some great creative writing. I think each episode's going to be a different sort of genre and modern television and pre-modern television.
That's what I've been hearing too.
I think it's going to be great, but man, Mephisto, I want to see him.
Hopefully.
God, I want to see him so
But there's
bad.
even some callbacks, I think, they show you like by different decade.
There is.
They show you by different decades of the shows. It's like a Mork and Mindy type of vibe or something. And then it's like a, I don't know, like the Dick Van Dyke Show or something like that when they show them in different eras.
Yeah. They have like, it's like Full House, like Brady Bunch, I Love Lucy, like a lot of different shows that, you know, I even was turning on Nick at Night and was, you know, watching reruns of this stuff, you know?
And we're trying to find out this identity of this neighbor. This, we think it's Agatha, but we don't know, her Agnes, or whatever they're going to call her.
Played by Catherine Hahn, right?
Yeah, we don't know who she is, and we don't know what part she plays. I think that she's the one that's bringing in the actual villain.
Yeah,
she's the girl in front of the guy. You know, like there's something that's going on behind the scenes. Who's the actor that plays Vision? I'm not familiar with
Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany.
Okay, so he said he's gotten a chance to work with somebody that he's always wanted to work for, and they've had scenes that were brilliant. He said in a review.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So please be somebody, and it could be Mephisto. That would be perfect.
And the execs at Disney were like, he wasn't supposed to say that.
Really?
Yeah, they were like, he let that slip, and we went through our fingers, and he went on and said, I don't think I'm supposed to say that.
Right. I mean,
so
that's the rule at Marvel. You can't say anything. Once you sign that contract, even any review, they're like, I don't know anything. Oh, it's kind of funny, except for Tom Holland. He'll give away anything.
The character that I'm most interested in is Kat Dennings, who plays the character of Darcy Lewis from the Thor franchises, is in this show.
Right.
She is.
So it's
forgot
like,
about that.
What cosmic entity is she having? Is she working for S.H.I.E.L.D. now? Is she working for the FBI? We don't know. So she has a
S.H.I.E.L.D.
role in this show.
Really, like, existent, so it'd be
Sword.
now.
So, yeah, is she working for Sword? So for me, I'm really interested to see how does she tie into this? How is she going to help further this story? I mean, there's so many things that can happen. I can't wait. I'm really excited. We haven't had Marvel
in a while,
and we're finally
a long time
getting it, and it's going to be really refreshing. I can't wait.
I'm so excited to see the threads that this show starts to drop, and I'm excited for the main storyline. And I hate to say this because sometimes that's a gripe about Marvel. It's like, oh, everything's a commercial for the next thing, but this is a great opportunity to drop in threads about you were talking about Quicksilver, and they couldn't call Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver mutants in Age of Ultron. They called them miracles because they didn't have the rights. They have the rights now. So do we get some threads that like mentioning maybe about Scarlet Witch's father or something like that, and they start dropping hints about mutants for the future?
The very first trailer for WandaVision that we ever saw, and that they had the label of the bottle of wine,
Maison Brie,
House of M. So there's the reference to it.
Yep.
So, I mean, they could be trying to lay the groundwork for some. I don't know how they're going to introduce the mutants. I mean, there's been a rumor that the Captain Marvel sequel is going to introduce like Rogue, that Black Panther 2 could introduce Storm.
And Doctor Doom. They're saying that Black Panther might introduce
So,
Doctor Doom
I mean,
as well.
dude, check me out. All right.
All right.
I'm checking.
Woo! Hey.
I check you out all
Mighty
the time,
Ducks
Sonny.
3.
God, you guys are crazy. What if it's like one of the Full House episodes and it's like Uncle Jesse comes in and it's Quicksilver? You know what I mean? Like,
Whoa.
If Uncle Jesse is in this series,
you know, but
that
I mean,
would be fantastic.
but in that form,
That's
you know what I
cool.
mean? As that's how they play it, as in like They said they shot the first 3 episodes in front of a live audience, so there's going to be like the cheering.
No
and
way,
all that kind of
really?
stuff. Yes.
Oh,
that's
that'd be
interesting.
cool.
Yeah.
So
What
it's
a
really
cool
cool.
little inside baseball thing. That's
You know,
awesome.
I got it. It's shot as in 3 acts. The first 1, 2, and 3 are the first. We're gonna kind of get to know. We'll get all the slap in the knees and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
They'll start revealing stuff during 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 will be the actual Marvel. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, have you guys read the Mr. Miracle by Tom King?
Yeah.
No.
So
Nope.
it's incredible, and it's very much takes place inside of his mind or something like that. And the first couple of comics, you don't really start to see that cracking until like later on, issues rather. So what you're implying is that it's gonna be like kind of sitcom-y for the first couple,
Yeah.
and we'll see that reality start to break a little bit,
Right.
like in like maybe the voice coming across the radio,
Like a glitch in the Matrix a little
Exactly.
bit. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
go ahead.
and it'll start
Write this
breaking,
down.
and once we start getting to the 3rd episode, or maybe at the end of the 2nd episode of night, the first real reality break for Scarlet Witch, because she's trying to keep this in her mind and keep this in her perfect little idea of what she wants to live her life
Mhm.
out with Vision, and we'll start to see the cracks of that. So that's cool.
And what's the name of the book you said again?
Mr. Miracle. It's one of the best comics of the past decade.
It's a 12-parter.
It's
It's,
so good.
Cool.
It's pretty
Okay.
great.
That's
Cool.
awesome.
That's exciting.
I'm really cool.
And then in the show, they show her with twins. She's holding babies.
Yep.
So it's
That you see in some of the
it's
clips as well.
Quick and Wiccan, I believe, right?
Wiccan and
It's not Quick.
Quick and loans.
It's
No.
Quicken Loans.
It's
no, it's
Wiccan.
Wiccan and I can't remember the other name.
It's something involving speed because one has.
I think it's Speed and Wiccan.
I
I think the name is Speed.
It might be Speed and Wiccan,
Yeah.
and clearly one has super speed. The other one has a little bit of chaos magic.
Mhm.
I think it's going to be Mephisto in the background,
Let's go.
siphoning off this chaos magic, trying to figure out, making her use it more to warp different realities. Kind of, I don't know, feeding into her ideas and feeding into her using this dimension to siphon off these powers. And then we might get maybe episode, 8, 9 little Mephisto jabs, and that'll turn into everything into Multiverse of Madness.
See, like I was excited for this, and I'm like, "Yay, Marvel's back!" But you guys always manage to make me so much more excited for things. Like it's crazy. Like I'm like, it'll be cool. Marvel's back.
Our goal is to get you excited.
That's the
Yeah.
goal. I mean, like and subscribe if you like what we got going on. But seriously, this is what we came here to do. Is
Like and subscribe if you don't like what's going on.
yeah, please do thumbs up, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't like, thumbs up.
thumbs up.
Comment that you don't like it.
No, seriously. Hey, get us some views. No, we started this show as just talking crap. We want to talk about movies and shows, and then it began to be a lot of our viewers and friends are watching our show to keep up on things or just to kind of learn backstories on things. So it's awesome, man.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Or to harass us.
Or to harass us.
That's
Cool.
true.
Yeah.
Get a lot of that lately.
We're looking forward to the show. I'm gonna do the nap and then wake up at 12, like I was doing for the Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
I've had practice
You know what's up
of
now.
how to do this, so I'll take a nap and then I'll get up probably at like 1 a.m. and then watch the 2 episodes, and I'll miss several text messages from all of you
Yep.
about why aren't you watching this? Is Frank asleep? Wake up, old man,
Sonny will be the first guy, bro.
bro.
It's always me.
This is
Capital
dope.
letters, bro.
Oh my gosh, you missed that.
I'm
What's
trying
wrong?
to get. I'm trying to
6
get my
different
wife.
texts.
I'm trying to get my wife to not be interested in this show. Like,
Okay.
yeah, you don't really want to watch it, right? Like, I can just watch it without you.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
that's
You're
what it
cool
is.
with that, right? We'll see. It probably won't go over well. But on our synopsis that we have here, I wanted to ask you this question: was this the right series to be the first one that we see?
I think because what they're planning long term, yes.
Okay.
But I think that they could have interchanged it with the Falcon and Winter Soldier because there feels like there's unanswered questions as far as Falcon taking on the mantle
Mhm.
of Captain America.
For sure.
They could have totally gone into that, and then they could have put this series out right before the Doctor Strange sequel, which who knows with shooting schedules when we're going to get it.
Right.
I don't know if we're getting 3, 4, or 5 movies this year. Who knows? With,
Yeah,
like,
it's kind of up in the air.
we don't know if we're still going to be watching Black Widow on a streaming service.
Right.
Not yet. We don't know.
We are.
But I mean,
Yeah.
I'm interested in this series because it's something different,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the most exciting thing for me is that
Mhm.
it's going to be weird.
Yeah.
But what you touched on earlier, Donovan, it's Marvel and it's something new.
Right.
We haven't had anything new
Right.
Marvel.
Right.
For a long time. It feels like 10 years, but
Yeah.
it's only been a year.
And that's the
Yeah.
coolest thing I think that they're doing is it's a new style of a complete different superhero franchise, but it's done differently. So I know about it, but the next person that just wants to see something new on Disney Plus can click it on and be like, oh, maybe I need to go back and watch Avengers, or maybe I need to go back and check this stuff out because there's this new platform coming out.
Mhm.
And I'm glad that they're not, it's just like one season and it's just that, and that's the next one, you know?
Didn't we get correct me if I'm wrong, but Loki is getting a second season.
Yeah.
Yes, they
I
are.
am so excited
I
about
think
that.
that's the one I'm most excited about.
And it's the one I agree, because I don't want to get away from WandaVision too much.
More
but
so than these two.
it's in its separate universe. And
It's in multi.
exactly, and
versus
Loki gets to be a completely different Loki. He doesn't have to adhere to any of the character development he's gotten in the
Mhm.
movies and stuff.
Mhm.
So it's completely different from anything outside of this. And WandaVision's kind of like that too, because it's in her mind or Vision's mind or something, and they're free to do what they want with these characters. And I love that. They're not bound by sequels and continuity too much, especially if it's going on in her brain.
Speaking about Scarlet Witch, I don't know if you guys, me and my old roommate, we would talk about whenever she would use her powers, she'd use her fingers, like, I don't know, like everything would be super weird. I'm trying to not do it on camera. It's just the weirdest way that they develop her powers and what they're trying to use as this chaos magic that's in the comics. Do you think we'll get some No More Mutants eventually down the line?
I think eventually we're going to get some version of an AVX type of thing. We're going to get, was it Secret Empire?
Yeah.
Or no,
Secret
Invasion on Plus.
Yeah.
That's going to be like a streaming based crossover type series.
Mhm.
I think that with the films, I mean, they could go a bunch of different directions. They could do Civil War 2 if they wanted to. I mean,
I feel like
which
that would
wasn't great.
I
No,
hope.
it
I
wasn't.
really
That's why
hope
I'm
not.
not
yeah, I
facing
hope
it.
not.
It wasn't great.
Secret Wars would be my thing.
That'd be cool, but they're doing this all backwards
They are.
with regards to Marvel. I mean, they
Yeah.
did Civil War before they did Infinity War and
Right.
Endgame, which was
Little
basically
weird.
taking place a decade before
Mhm.
Civil War actually happened. I
Movie
mean,
purposes,
the title sounded great.
right? Making this money, they wanted to pin Captain America and Iron Man against each other.
Well, what they could do is they could do Civil War 2 for the movies and just make it more like larger and basically do the original Civil War storyline, but adhere to it more strictly because they have more characters now and take elements that were good from Civil War 2. I have no desire to see Civil War 2
Me neither.
Uh, adapted.
no,
It's
no, no,
it's
no, no.
brutal.
Yeah.
Secret
It's-
War, dude.
yeah.
Secret Wars would be sick.
Yeah. And go ahead.
You keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
That's the type of comic Secret Wars. Sorry about that. That is
It's a
very
fun
easily
one.
adaptable because it's very old. It's very of its time, but it's Battle World,
Battleworld.
and they can do all these different things with the characters and take a bunch of liberties because of
Yeah.
how like old and weird the writing is.
For
And
sure.
like I know
Switch it up.
for
a little
me, if they changed a bunch of stuff about that and made it a better story, to be honest with you, because the comic is dated.
bit. Oh, for sure.
But
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
is.
For
They
sure.
can make that story super duper cool, similar to some of the Hulk versus Thor Ragnarok moments.
Yeah.
That would be so dope.
And Feige's mentioned too is that like as far as the rumors for whatever is going to be this third Spider-Man film with Tom Holland and whoever may or may not be returning in the film.
Jam packed.
He says the rumors aren't really that far off. He won't confirm anything.
Well,
but-
they were just talking about today that Charlie Cox Daredevil would be. It's not far off that he would be showing up.
Of course not. Listen, Marvel has done a great job at trying to make sure that everybody from all walks of life, wherever anybody is on the comic spectrum, guys like us who are diehard readers have been reading since we were little kids and still continue to read.
For sure.
They
For sure.
totally make sure that those themes and elements are still put into the movies, like Civil War. Civil War starts off at the beginning as they're going into a house, the house blows up, and everyone goes, oh, superheroes are too dangerous. Scarlet Witch blows a building up, and they're going, wait, too dangerous. It's all those same things that we see in the
same
themes.
thematically.
So,
Right.
with that being said, Marvel does a great job at intention and making sure these stories are intentional.
Mm-hmm.
We're starting off with WandaVision. To the average movie lover of comic book stories, to us, the multiverse makes sense.
Yeah.
We know what the multiverse is. Not only that, but on the DC side as well.
Same thing.
We have Crisis on Infinite Earths and
Yep.
all these different
The rules still
Crisis
apply
and the
when you
New
switch
52 and all that. Yeah, exactly. So we have to try and now these guys have to try and now make sure that the average moviegoer, like my friend Doug, who only watches the movies, and like my wife, who only watches the movies, understands what a multiverse is.
Right.
So they make sure that it translates.
Mhm.
It's got to translate.
Right,
for sure.
You know,
For sure.
the idea of stones going into a gauntlet and you control the world. That sound to an average person like that's
That's yeah, that's a
But
little
now
much.
that you know they marinate and they intentionally put these in piece by
I agree,
piece by
yeah.
piece, then you go, holy crap! When we were watching Infinity War, my wife and all my friends, when we went and saw it, my wife went, "Oh no!" Like without me
Yeah.
having to explain
yeah, like
what each stone means or the represent.
definitely bad.
She went, "Oh no!" Every time
Definitely
a stone
bad.
was taken, and I'm like, "These guys are geniuses."
They're so
yeah.
good at making things digestible.
Yeah,
They've had
exactly.
20 plus
So good.
parts.
So
and-
that's why they have
yeah.
they have to do this for they have to introduce the multiverse first. They've already introduced the scrolls in Captain Marvel. So right away we go, us here at this table go, oh, Secret Invasion. There's going to be a Secret Invasion without a doubt. Then I sit there and I explain to my wife and my friend Doug, Secret Invasion was this. And I go, oh, okay, cool. Well, I can't wait to see that down the road.
Right.
Yeah.
So Marvel knows exactly what they're doing, how they're doing it, and it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be as good as the first
phases.
phases that we had,
Yeah.
but I definitely think it's going to be super
We don't
exciting for
know,
this
though,
next
man.
generation. This is
We
very
don't know.
true, but man,
Because we
You already have a bunch of stuff established.
well that's
Sure.
that's the thing. You have all this stuff established, and then you have like people that want all these crazy new superheroes to come out. I would love what's his name from Stranger Things to be Miles Morales. I can't think of his name. The kid with the curly hair.
I can't remember his
I
name.
can't think of his name. But anyway, just to have like another Spider-Man running around with our same Spider-Man.
Well, to build off
They
what
said
you two
they
were talking
cast
about.
Miles Morales, but they're not telling
Not
anyone.
telling.
Right.
no, they won't.
Well, talking about dropping stuff and making stuff digestible, Aaron Davies is in Spider-Man: Homecoming. The
Yeah.
Prowler.
Yeah,
Miles
exactly.
Morales' uncle
Mhm.
is on the phone with Miles.
Yeah.
He's there.
They're
They've dropped him in.
there.
They're so good at it.
They're really
They
good
know
at
what
that.
they're doing. I've always said, someone asked me today, it's like, why can't DC get their stuff together? They didn't say stuff though. I said, this
Right.
is the reason why DC can't get their things together. When Marvel puts something, they put it in the crock pot, they put it on low for X amount of hours.
Mhm, let it simmer.
DC throws it in a pressure cooker and pushes 1 hour
That's-
and
that
then
thing on high.
That's really that's
And
that's
everything's
it. And then they
frozen.
go-
Perfect
and then they
sense.
taste and go, oh, it's not bad, but it's not definitely not what I wanted.
Right.
Right.
That's the difference between the two,
That's
and that's
really
why
funny.
DC is not
That's
doing what
really
it
good.
should be
They
doing.
never build a story.
This would have been the
No.
time for DC to do their stuff.
Yep.
No Marvel. I think I've said this before on the show before, and I get so heated. DC, this was their
Can't
time.
tell.
This was their time. This was their time to let us know who Darkseid was.
Yeah.
What boom, the boom
The boom
tubes and
the
mother boxes and
yeah.
all this stuff. This was their time to show us, and they fell flat on their faces.
They could have exposed like a
Sucks.
completely different level of like all those secondary characters.
Oh yeah, dude. And there's
And
a
they
lot
didn't.
of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that DC is just missing. And
Well, they tried too hard to play catch up with Marvel.
oh yeah, dude.
Instead of like, we waited 10 years for Infinity War.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Remember seeing Thanos in after credits when his CGI wasn't good and he was a little bit more purple, and then you kind of know that I'm like, oh, this
Like
is what they're
Thanos?
doing.
They're
I'm
gonna
like,
that was a-
they're gonna have Thanos.
And I'm telling
and that
my
wasn't
buddies.
even the intention. That was a thought.
That was
Kevin
just a
Feige
thought.
was like, "What if we just put Thanos at the end and see?" Or Joss Whedon, he was like, "Let's put Thanos at the post credits and see what people think."
right. I'm trying to explain to people. I'm like, yo, in like 5 more years, something crazy is about to happen with
Yep.
these movies. You know what I mean? And it got to build into a phenomenon. You know, seeing the snap or hearing people talk about that. I still to think biggest moment in comic book movie history for a fan to know is when Captain America wielded the hammer.
It's
Oh, it's
Incredible.
crazy.
I think that was for a moment to be
I
in
was
the
sitting
theater.
next to him.
We're
What
like,
happened? I was like, "Ooh!"
And he
I was
stands
sitting. Actually, I
down
was sitting in between him
that
and
army.
Rod
dude,
over there. I was
that
sitting in between them.
once I saw that, and when I saw the hammer go past Thor, I automatically knew it was gonna happen. I'm tapping my buddy Johnny. I'm like, yo, you know what's crazy? This is crazy. And he gets the hammer, and it was the whole movie theater exploded.
And he's supposed to yell "Avengers Assemble."
Right.
He's not supposed to say, "Hey, Avengers, hey, assemble, let's go." It's like, dude, you're supposed to
Scream
yell it.
You know what I mean?
I
It's
teared
the
up.
only thing.
I'm not even kidding. I got
Oh,
that
I
lump
had
in my throat
goosebumps.
when he caught the hammer and they had that shot of him looking. I was like, this is everything I've ever wanted.
Right.
And the most
can't believe
Captain
what I'm
America moment
seeing.
ever, standing there with Mjolnir, millions, hundreds of thousands of monsters and enemies in front of him,
portals.
and he's the only one standing there.
Right.
He doesn't know they're coming to save him,
Of course.
but he's Captain America.
He
He's
has
standing
to.
them down
And
anyway.
probably
has
the
to.
greatest callback ever on your left.
Yeah,
Ah,
that was
yeah.
pretty. That was good. That was good.
Tons of callbacks in those movies. They're
Yeah.
just like it's
But-
fantastic.
Beforehand, we're talking culturally about what Marvel has done. Before Avengers, no one knows who Thanos was.
No,
No,
only it's like a
If you
niche
say-
amount of
yeah.
people.
If you say Thanos now, everybody knows who you're talking
100%.
about.
Well, that's a testament to what Marvel did, period. Because
Bingo.
Marvel in the 90s and 2000s sold off all their most popular characters. They sold
Yeah.
Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, and X-Men. The best-selling comic of all time is an X-Men comic.
It's crazy.
Those three were the main people you knew at Marvel.
Yeah.
People who read comics, they knew who Tony Stark was. People who didn't, they didn't know who Iron Man was.
No.
Now Iron
Marvel
Man's
had filed bankruptcy.
just as big,
Yeah.
if not bigger than Spider-Man.
Folks, can you tell we're super excited for Marvel content coming out? Because we
got-
are.
and we're supposed to get to some DC stuff.
Yeah.
And that's crazy for me because, as you guys know, I read much more DC than I do Marvel.
Same here.
Same.
I love DC more as
Same.
a reader, but
Same, dude.
they crap the bed all the time. And the Marvel stuff is so much more fun to read. It's so much more fun to watch and
Yeah.
see what they've adapted, and they do a better job of it. And it's sad for DC that me, a DC fan, loves Marvel movies, not DC movies.
I told my friend, I was like, Identity Crisis is literally the greatest comic book I've ever read in my entire life.
It's up there.
It's,
yeah,
it's,
that's pretty great.
it-
It's
I mean, Elastic Man not being able to hold himself together from his wife's funeral, and him slopped over the chair. Like, you feel that, you feel those things, and I just
true.
don't know if DC's going to get there, and if they do, it's going to be when we're in our 50s and 60s.
Yeah. Well,
Hopefully not.
I'll be 60.
Hopefully not.
I think speaking up of Marvel stuff so much, it is hard to, I don't know, maybe not see the outshine that it does in the cinematic universe. The comics, however, are a completely different story. Even the animated series,
Well, yeah, DC dominates on every front.
except the movies.
But
But they're
cinematic.
films.
Yeah, exactly.
They just got the wrong people in place. It all starts from the top. Walter Amada, Jeff Johns, which is so surprising to me. But they have toxic things going on behind the scenes, and it's showing.
Well, we're looking towards the future as far as what's going to happen with Marvel, and
Yeah.
we know that Feige has something planned out till 2026 or 2027, something like that.
Good lord.
In the short term, the future for DC is kind of like let's see, put like a 6-month limit on it.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen,
Yeah.
6 or 7 months down the line.
It's like a short lease.
And we get this future state, which is this window into what's going to be happening with DC.
So cool.
A short-term look ahead, a 5 to 10 year window, depending on what series you're reading with Future State. What are your thoughts on Future State overall? What have you guys enjoyed about Future State so far that you've read?
I think Teen Titans has been my favorite, hands down, easy. I think Dark Detective is number 2 for me. Little Neo Gotham kind of vibe. Not so much Batman Beyond, but just a little bit more. Kind of Batman, or excuse me, Gotham is
The way they make Gotham look is really
It's
cool.
it's
super
super cool.
cool.
Yeah.
It's futuristic, but it's like I don't know. They're thriving without Bruce Wayne and thriving without a Batman, and these peacemakers are the guys that are kind of holding things down. You get to see Batman don the cowl again. It's I don't know. It's something. It just kind of brings you back to like just an OG. Him stopping somebody in an alleyway for robbing, and then he puts on the cowl and gets away. Super cool, super cool. But Teen Titans for me, easy, was one of the more cooler stories that come out of it.
Kind of interested to what direction Teen Titans is going to go in. We know that there won't be a Teen Titans series in March when everything returns back to normal,
Right.
as far as the continuity numbering wise and everything. Teen Titans Academy will be debuting in
Yeah.
March.
Yeah.
And it's basically going to be going off of whatever is happening with this Future State Teen Titans story. We're getting the Red X
Oh man, that's what I was just gonna get into. Dude.
with the Teen Titans Academy. you don't know who Red X is yet.
No.
So they're creating a sort of a mystery
Gotta love
for
that.
you
Well,
when
that's how-
Teen Titans Academy starts.
That's how Red X started in the Teen Titans show. You didn't know who he was, and he's showing up doing all these kind of like, I don't know, rogue missions and all that kind of stuff.
And I love that idea.
It's super cool. It's kind of like like a Red Hood, but for the Titans. You know what I mean? You get, I think, Raven and Nightwing speaking to this guy in a cell. You don't know who the guy in the cell is.
Right.
But he was there on the day that the Titans Tower fell, and he knows that he needs a part of forgiveness. Nightwing speaking to him, and he's like, man, don't try and do this as like your holy glory. You know, I'm just as much of a blame for this as you are. They're speaking, and he's like, man, this mask belongs to you way more than it does to me.
Did you read it yet?
I haven't gotten to Teen Titans yet.
Basically, it starts out with like a birthday party for Dick Grayson.
Right.
And then there's a time jump, and, you know, I don't want to get in like
It's
too
red.
far
It's
into it.
red. It's Red Arrow, Amiko, which is Green Arrow, Oliver's like sister from the dad's side, and then Nightwing, and they're going by and they're looking at all the graves, and you see a couple of names. I'm not gonna ruin it. And he's like, we have 2 minutes to grieve, and then we're out of here. You know what I mean?
Jeez.
Like we have a mission to do.
Yeah.
So cool.
Cyborg and Beast are something new. Beast.
Ooh. Well, this is even more because I've read about 5 or 6 of the titles so far. Most of the Bat Family ones, except for the Teen Titans, which is pretty much a Bat Family thing.
Yeah, it's like a Nightwing extension.
And I've loved pretty much all the Bat Family comics of Future State so far.
Yeah.
So, and the thing they've set up with whatever the Magistrate is and these peacekeepers and what's ever going on, it's super cool, and it gives kind of a little outside of the story. It gives different writers an opportunity to tell different stories because DC,
and that's the main thing.
has always kind of like stuck to a couple of writers, and that's probably why their stories are usually so good. It's a couple of main guys that run all of these major stories, and they trickle in a guy once in a while. Like they'll give Scott Snyder Batman Black Mirror.
Right.
Kills it.
Yeah.
Okay, he's on Batman next. But
Boom.
now it's giving all these people opportunities to do that where they otherwise wouldn't have. And so far, I think all the titles I've read are ranging from I didn't really love the Wonder Woman one, but other than that, everything I've read has been very good and a very different story.
That's awesome.
And introducing new characters and new adventures.
That's awesome.
Well, I spoke to Paul over the weekend. We were talking about how DC at this point is kind of seeing what sticks. They're throwing everything up against the wall as far as like ideas, and they're trying to see things. But with a lot of their larger titles, they're trying to tell you a larger story and still have some connectivity to whatever we're going to go back to in March.
Right.
Because we know Tinian is going to stay on Batman.
Yeah.
We know that Bendis is going to be writing Justice League.
Yep.
We know that we're going to get a Teen Titans Academy. We're not getting a New Titans or Teen Titans series. We're going to have a Teen Titans Academy where all of the core Titans are like teachers or whatever, instructors, whatever. So they're laying out this groundwork for us.
It's gonna be cool.
I mean, to create like all kinds of anticipation. And I guess my question to you guys is does it make you excited to read whatever's going to be happening in March based on what you've read so far, or is the verdict still out? Do you have to keep reading some more stuff into Future State to follow up on stuff in March?
I think I'm stoked they got me with the hook, because when I told you, I was like, text me as soon as you figure out the last page on Teen Titans.
Yeah, and it was really cool.
And you're like, yo, you know what I mean? Like that you hooked me. I'm excited. I'll be excited for the next couple months.
I'm hooked too. I'm in it. And I usually don't read more than 2 or 3 titles at a time. I'm gonna be picking up stuff like crazy after this. As long as this Future State doesn't fall apart towards the end, which most of them, it doesn't get any longer than 4 issues, right?
No.
I don't think any of them are longer than 4 issues.
So it's really
next
difficult
Batman number 2 comes out next week. The first one was last week. It's gonna be quick.
Like I said, I didn't love the Wonder Woman one. I didn't hate it. I thought it was cool. There was a lot of cool ideas. I just thought the writing was a little weird. But even then, with the way that comic ended, I'm excited to read the next one and see what these new characters are doing and where they're going, and then to see how it folds back in when it goes back to normal in March. You're saying in March?
Yeah,
nice.
March.
I think this is a smart move by DC to like kind of go, hey, this is what could happen in the future, but we'll go back.
Right.
But we're going to play with your imagination a little bit. And now these stories are going to be, well, how did it lead to these moments? How did we get here? So again, they're letting a lot of creativity fly in
Mhm.
DC in their books, and that's really exciting. I made the tragic mistake of not ordering my pull box for
That's what you were saying
my son
earlier.
when I was talking to you guys beforehand. So my good friend Paul let me borrow Flash 1 and Dark Detective 1 so that I could
Oh, I forgot about the Flash one.
read them, and I'll be up to date more with this when we come into next week. But I love what they're doing. I really love what they're doing. It's creative. It's sort of fresh. Can't really yeah, we've kind of seen stuff like this before, but not
Right.
not to this capacity. And I think they're like, hey, let's go all in on this and see what happens, and see, like what Frank said, let's see what sticks to the wall and how it's going to work. And I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
They want new.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
there's plenty of things that they could develop over like, well, they're going to release this stuff this month and next month, and they can just kind of decide. They have their solicitations for March,
Oh, for sure.
so after that, all bets are off. They can just say people really didn't care for this. There's
Yeah.
going to be an
Mhm.
Immortal Wonder Woman series that comes out next month.
Yeah.
That sounds
We don't know if that's going to be good or not. We don't know if people are going to buy in on Yara Flor. Can Yara Flor and Diana be together
Right.
in a title?
Right.
I mean,
They're
we
for
don't-
sure gonna have to play that.
We don't know.
It's gonna be
So-
an interesting play.
I'm interested to see what they do going forward and what
Right.
stories they're going to tell. And I really do appreciate, Paul touched on it, I really do appreciate the fact that they're giving these younger aspiring artists and writers an opportunity
Right.
to take on these characters and tell their stories.
Right.
We don't have the go-tos of the Bendises and Tom Taylors and Tom
Snyders,
Kings
yeah.
and the Snyders of the world.
Right.
We have this next generation, and Tinian. I mean, Tinian's taking a break. Sounds like Tinian's taking a break from Something That's Killing the Children too.
Yeah.
After we
Yeah.
get like 2 more issues, I think he's taking a little bit of a break from that too.
Dude,
So we'll see.
Such a good
Uh,
story.
we're excited about it. But I mean, regardless.
To stay on that for a second, like The Dark Detective was written by Mariko Tamaki and art by Dan Mora. I love the art in that, and I
Yeah, I
love
like
the
the art.
writing. I would have never read anything from Mariko Tamaki.
So she was
Yeah.
writing Wonder Woman, and then a year ago she was writing DC young adult books. She wasn't writing
cool.
anything mainstream for DC. So she's been given an opportunity.
And
That's
now
so
I'm like,
cool.
I love her Batman. I
Yeah, you're
love
like,
that.
I'm
I love the way it
sold.
written. That
she
was
did a good job.
super cool, and the art was very good, and
The art's really cool.
the way that, like, I think you mentioned it, the way the city is portrayed and the way it's drawn,
Yeah.
it's so cool.
I just see DC execs going into like the bullpen of where everyone works. I mean, I don't know if they're going back into where everyone's working, but going back in and going like, hey, some of you have the potential to be the next biggest star here as far as our writers are concerned.
Right, and that's
Mm-hmm.
so cool.
Show us what you got, and a star will be born from this. And I can't wait to see some of the great writers that are going to come out of this. And it's going to be exciting.
It's gonna be super exciting.
Well, you're giving them opportunity, and like I said, Mariko Tamaki is going to be. She wrote Wonder Woman. She's going to write this Dark Detective series. We don't know what she's going to be doing going forward. Maybe they give her Detective Comics.
That would
Maybe
be
they let
that
her
would be
write
so
Detective
Holy
Comics.
smokes.
Maybe she write
Interesting.
Detective Comics for 6 months
That's
and just like
interesting.
as a kind of like a tryout.
Right.
Tinian wrote Detective Comics for a year and a half. I
That's
mean,
pretty cool.
before he was able to take over Batman, and that was like almost a year in between then when he actually took over
That's awesome.
Detective. So it could be sort of like a
Like a-
tryout.
Like a tryout. Yeah.
So
cool.
I mean,
An audition. You know.
we'll see. Williamson's writing Justice League up until they do this future state thing, and then we don't know where Williamson's going to be really plugged in it. I don't know what he's writing.
Mm.
I'm excited for that.
Tom Taylor's going to write Nightwing.
Interesting.
I mean,
Interesting.
One
I'm excited.
One thing I wanted to touch on, because we're all like super positive right now, but I want to say, I just want to say that I think it was Jason Fabok who had a interview recently. Maybe the interview or article I read is a little dated, but Fabok said that behind the scenes, DC is kind of a mess right now, which
It is.
surprises me.
Oh yeah.
What?
There-
How does
there-
it surprise you?
There's issues.
No, I'm talking
They
about
can't-
from a comic standpoint.
Oh, okay,
I
that's
don't.
different.
I didn't.
There's issues.
Okay, so and Fabok said he's out. He's done with DC, which
Yikes.
sucks because Fabok is incredible. I love his
Yeah,
art.
heavy hitter.
He's like this generation's Jim Lee.
And you know that a lot of the creative, a lot of the guys that are like lead creative minds involved with DC. Snyder is doing this independent thing, Noctera,
Mm-hmm.
with Tony Daniel. Tinian obviously doing other things with Boom Studios.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of involved in their own little
Mm-hmm.
side project, and I mean that's kind of a sign as to what they're gonna be doing. Jeff Johns is doing his next project is Image. It's with Image. It's not DC,
That's crazy because he's the
Super
creative
sick.
director of DC.
which
Yeah,
is weird.
Bye.
Which is weird.
Bye.
Yeah.
But real quick, I just want to touch on something. We're not going to get to that last thing. We'll probably talk about it next week a little bit. But real quick, I just want to touch on some stuff that you're looking forward to reading, or that you're currently reading that you've been enjoying.
Enjoying.
Have you been enjoying it?
I've been super enjoying it.
I've been enjoying you, Frank.
Oh my gosh,
Oh my goodness.
Hong Kong.
this is a enjoyed fest.
Yikes.
What have you been interested in? That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
My answer
Reading
is Frank.
books,
clearly.
comics.
I gotta find it.
I think for me, it's been King in Black. I've been kind of touching on. I think I put on something. Shout out Comics Explained to kind of put on it in the background, and there was the Guardians of the Galaxy tie-in that just came out,
Mhm.
and Peter Quill he let off a bomb at some point and got sucked into a different dimension with the Greek gods, and he's been spending 150 years with this other woman, and which is a god, came back and now has a element gun powered by the Greek gods. So he shot and killed one of Null's dragons with this gun, and now they're transferring into the plane of Null, and now Peter Quill is somewhat of a god, and yeah, there's some pretty cool stuff going on over there.
Donovan, what about you?
Something's killing the children.
Boom.
Mhm.
That is
Boom.
you
Exactly.
Stole
gave,
my
Boom.
answer.
you get you gave me volume 1 last week. I'm about halfway through it right now, and I am loving it. I love a good mystery that's got you hooked
Yeah.
throughout the entire thing, and
So
they've
good.
done such an incredible job with it. I love it. I highly recommend it for those who really love mysteries and being on the edge of your seat. Something's killing the children, so that's what I'm. And the High Republic. I just ordered.
Yeah. That's a
the
good
Light
one.
of the Jedi for the High Republic by I think Charles Soule is his name.
Charles Soule.
Got that book coming in tomorrow, so I'm excited to read
Nice.
that as well. I've heard nothing but great things about
Number
it.
one
Good.
on the New York Times bestseller list.
It's crazy.
Wild.
That's
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah.
Big for nerds. What's up, Paul?
So for me is same answer as Donovan. Actually, I'm going to be reading Something's Killing the Children, Volume 2, which was just given to me by my lovely friend Frank. And
Lovely.
I
I
Lovely.
smashed through that first volume. I went
You
home from
smashed.
here and I texted them like 2 hours later. I was like,
Oh
"Loved
my
it."
God, loved it. So
Loved it.
good.
And
Text me at like 1 a.m.
yeah, I know.
He was asleep.
And
I was asleep.
one of those things that I'm probably going to try to pick up on and figure out what I need to get to catch up is The King in Black, because I think I mentioned it last week maybe. I just finished reading Volume 1 and Volume 2 of Jason, what's his name? He wrote the Darth Vader and the Thor run that I'm talking about.
Jason Aaron.
Jason Aaron. I read the God Butcher and God Bomb, which is
So
got to
good.
do with
Ooh,
the
please,
symbiote.
please,
And
please.
that was so dope.
Oh my God.
And more symbiote stuff for me. So I'm definitely going to figure out where that's at because I haven't started reading The King in Black, and I think I need to start.
What about
Real
you,
quick, I read this last night. It's haha. This would probably be my pick for the week, as far as
bro? Something not superheroes.
something not superhero. It's not so super. If you read the anthology series Ice Cream Man, which is a horror series, haha is about clowns, and it's about a clown that has probably the worst day that he could ever have. And it's funny because I'm not a horror movie guy,
Yeah.
but I really like horror comic books.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's very
That's
strange.
interesting.
Okay.
I don't like horror movies.
Yeah, because we've talked about that. You know, I'm all about this like scary movies and stuff. And
Same.
Horror comics, I'm all about it.
Huh,
And the same
interesting.
thing with High Republic. I'm really interested in reading High Republic.
yeah,
I read issue 1 of the Marvel series, High Republic. It was okay.
Sure.
It wasn't great.
All right.
But they have a lot of story to tell.
yeah. There's a lot of stuff that they got to cover.
And, I mean, a lot of ground to cover.
Ubisoft just got a full what is it? An open world Star
Open
Wars.
world Star Wars game.
Nice.
So that's going to be
That
huge.
could be ridiculous.
I don't know what story they're going to tell.
Guys, we thank you so much for taking time to check us out while we drink our Trulies. Do us a favor, slap the like, subscribe. Even if you don't like what you're hearing, give us a like or a thumbs up. You can give us a thumbs down too. That's okay.
No
Creative
thumbs down.
Prism.
No thumbs down.
Let us know how we're doing. Okay, we really do appreciate it. Donovan, what do you want to say to the people?
I want to ask you guys, what are you looking forward to as far as future state, and what is the one thing that you can't wait to see in WandaVision? Leave a comment below. Let us know.
Paul.
Be safe and have a wonderful time, and read some comics and watch some TV.
Ooh, okay. Comment below. Really, what do you like, DC or Marvel? We've been talking about it.
I just want to mention really quick. It came out earlier today. Donny Cates, who is the architect for whatever's going on with King in Black, may or may not be writing Spider-Man.
Ooh,
soon.
That's interesting.
And I've been waiting for that for years. So if that happens,
so you're stoked for that for sure.
I will cry tears of joy. Guys, watch WandaVision tonight.
Yes, watch. Go
and
watch.
Let us know what you think. We might try to do some little review over the weekend as far as our
something.
reaction. And we'll drink and do a review.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, everyone.
Peace.